Hey there, it's Nancy Ganzakoffer, business coach. I'm trying to see, oh, Barbara wants to join. I'm going live today with Barbara Ames. Let's see if we can get her on.
Did I do
are
it?
you there? You
I think
did
so.
it. Here's the
These
funny thing though, I had it all, it's getting complicated to go live. There's so many options. So I wanted to come on like a minute or two early so we could get it working. But guess what happened? So there's a new way of getting it to go horizontal landscape if you turn your camera before you press the live button, right? So I had my tripod all set up for that, and then it wouldn't let me do it. So now I'm just going to take a second and try to make this work, because now my tripod is all messed up and I'm actually holding my phone, which I didn't plan on doing. So,
Oh no. Oh, Nancy, that's what we get for not being millennials, right? These cell phones, they're just like too complicated. Computers, okay. Cell phones, not so much.
It's crazy. Okay, give me a second here while people are joining.
Hi,
You know what, Barbara? Now's your time to share on your page, and once I get this all set up, I'm gonna share on my pages too.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. See, I'll write a comment.
Give me a second, guys. I'm having technical difficulties with getting my phone in the right spot. Every time I try to go horizontal. Hi, Luann. Thanks for joining us. I'm having technical difficulties, Luann, with my phone. You understand those, right? Okay. Okay, I think I'm sort of set up, although I feel like it's going to fall. So wait, let me try to secure it a little bit more. Okay, phone. Let's do it. Oh, I was so perfect, and now it's all messed up.
Hi,
Okay.
Kaden. I saw your video earlier today. Wait, let me see. I thought I shared. Maybe I didn't. Share now. I think I have
You
to
definitely shared something, because people were like liking my business page and stuff. So I so appreciate that. And I don't know, Kaden, are you going to share or am I sharing? Because I want to make sure it goes on my business page and in my group. So let's see if Kaden is sharing before we get started. I'm actually really excited to talk about this topic today, which is how to grow your email list, right? How to grow your email list of potential clients. Thank you, Kaden, because I'm all like, crazy here with my phone. I'm waiting for it to fall down. So if it falls down, I promise to pick it up, Barbara. But isn't this cool now that Facebook has this feature?
I guess so.
I'm with you. I always ask, like, you wanted to stay in your comfort zone, right? So here we go. This phone is so messed up.
Yeah, comfort zones are nice, Nancy.
For us, this Facebook Live is not as easy as we may make it look sometimes. I don't know. It's not really in our wheelhouse. But anyway, welcome everyone to Weekend Wind Down. It's 4:30 here in New York, so I do have my Kendall Jackson Grand Reserve as my glass of wine today, and I already had a little sip or two to get me started with my Friday night. And I know, Barbara, you're where?
I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and it's not it's technically not wine time here, but it is somewhere. It's 2:30 in the afternoon here.
Okay.
But one of the wonderful things about this, Nancy, I was just thinking about this, is having a bookend like this on my day. So knowing that I had this on my calendar, I just went ahead and got everything done by 2:30. So now I can enjoy the weekend wind down with you.
Oh, okay. Now you were trying to tell me what you were drinking. What were you drinking? What are you drinking?
Yeah, you're asking me, what are you drinking? You're like, what? Who?
I don't know.
What?
I never heard of it. What did you call it? A kabuta or something?
Kombucha. It's kombucha. So my husband makes the most delightful kombucha. Has anybody on this call, has anybody heard of that? I'm sure any of your health people know what I'm talking about. So it's kombucha. It's a probiotic drink that's made by fermenting sweet tea. And because it's so healthy for you, right, for your gut health, I counteract it with a little bit of wine to
There you go.
that's
it's
how
five
I
o'clock
manage
somewhere in the
that.
world. Okay, good. So we're
Can't be
ready
too
for
good,
weekend
right?
wind down. You can't be too good. It's a little boring, right? But I do need to get a little bit better. But welcome everyone who's watching Weekend Wind Down. This is my weekly series where I bring on other business owners to talk about different things about how you can grow your life and grow your business. I'm a business coach and I really work with my clients to help them break through the fear and get out of their comfort zone, get more business, get more sales, right? For more money in the bank. That's the bottom line. And I'm here today with Barbara Ames. Barbara, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Hi, Nancy. Hello, everybody. As you said, I'm Barbara Ames, and I'm also a business coach and a marketing strategist. And I work mostly with aspiring coaches. So they're not necessarily aspiring. A lot of the people that I've worked with have been coaching for a while, but now they want to break into the online space. So I help them do that and get clients online and then build and scale their business from there.
Perfect. Perfect. So we're both in the sort of the same space where we coach, you coach coaches, other entrepreneurs, I coach entrepreneurs at the beginning of their journey or towards the middle or the end, whenever they start to feel kind of stuck and what am I supposed to do next? And in this day and age with all this technology, right, we have to keep up. So it's kind of like our job to keep up and give them a method that works, that has worked for us. So I'm going to ask everybody, please share, right? Because if you know any entrepreneurs, please share this feed. We want to get as wide of a reach as we can because Barbara and I have a lot of great information between us. We've both been in business. I know I've been in business 30 years with different businesses. I've been coaching for about 2.5. And it's unbelievable. I mean, it's fabulous. I love it, but it's always learning new things. So how long have you been coaching, Barbara?
I've been coaching for 3 years now, and I've been an entrepreneur for close to 30. So I've
Isn't
had
it?
several, yeah, I don't know if you knew that about me. So I had a multi-seven-figure toy business. I'm the grandmother of earth-friendly toys. I've been dubbed by the press. I don't know why it couldn't be the mother or the godmother, but they picked grandmother because I sort of
Oh,
created that category and also helped resurrect or, well, build and resurrect my husband's auto repair business. So I have quite a lot of experience in the online space. And this business is the first, rather in business. And then this has been my first endeavor in the online space. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
me
Don't
too.
you?
Me too. I really do. I love it. Sometimes my butt hurts, but other than that, I'm good from sitting so much. I have to remember to keep getting up in between when I get on, so many coaching calls. But I do. I love it. It's flexible. It's endless possibilities. So I want to be able to teach coaches, which I also coach, but also brick and mortar entrepreneurs, how they can grow their business. A lot of my following, they are interior designers because in my past life, that's where I was 15 years as a art and accessory consultant to interior designers. So a lot of them follow me now, and a lot of them I coach. So I'm hearing some kind of feedback. Anyone else hearing that?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, that was weird. It was almost like a train was going by. Anyway, so let's talk about how you grow your client base, how you grow your list of potential clients so that, or customers, depending on what you call them, in order for you to be able to nurture them on a regular basis and them to get to know you so you can potentially offer them your services someday. So you want to go first or you want me to go first? Because we have like
You
about
know,
6 tips today.
Okay, yeah, great. So, I think that was probably me then, a plane going overhead. Sorry about that. I'm sitting outside on my deck, and it's
All
only
right.
partially covered. And to show you,
Oh,
that's
that's
my garden.
pretty.
But I think before we jump into the top 6 ways to build a list, I think it merits bringing up why you would want an email list in the first place. Because I don't know about you, but I find a lot of entrepreneurs like put that off to the last thing. They don't realize how important an email list is, particularly if you're in the online space. I don't know if you've had this experience, but I have a lot of people who my husband was one of them, not that he's in the online space, but, they think that like, Facebook is just going to be the panacea for everything. So they go out and write their book and create their website and, get certified as a coach and do this and do that and do that. And I think in the back of the mind, they're thinking, oh, well, when it's time for me to find clients, I'll just post something on Facebook and boom, I'll have this flood of clients. But does that really work? Has that ever worked for you, Nance?
You know what? I'll that's part of my first tip is, yes, I'll post to Facebook, but I'll post something of value that people want and have them opt in to it with a landing page. So for those of you who don't know what a landing page is, I'm sure almost no matter what you do, there's been a time where you put in your name and email address, right, to get access to something, right? Whether it's a free PDF or it's to listen to a webinar or to subscribe to a podcast. That page that you opted into is called the landing page. It's kind of like a little mini website, right? And you need that. So you're right. We need to talk about the importance of growing your email list because
so hang on, let me just jump in here real quick. So the reason that you need that landing page, you guys, is to get people from Facebook into your email list. So that's what that landing page accomplishes, right? I just want to make sure people understood that. So yes, Nancy, the tip that you just gave, which is a great tip, is that you'll go on Facebook and post something of value that somebody in your niche would want and could benefit from. And that's going to take them to a link that will be a landing page, a very simple page describing that thing and telling them that they can enter their name and email. Now that way you've done that so that you can capture them onto your email list. So let's talk about, so why is it important for you? Why do you feel it's important to get them onto your email list? Why don't you just give them the goodie right there on Facebook?
You know what? Because once you have them on your email list, you start to nurture that relationship, right? So I'm going to just speak to interior designers for a minute, right? So if you're an interior designer and you're looking to grow your list of potential, say you specialize in window treatments, and people don't know what to do with their windows. So perhaps you put together a one-sheet tip sheet, right? You tip 6 tips to select the perfect shaped window treatments for your tall windows, or if you're on the sunny side of the house, what types of window treatments are an option for you. And you're going to put that out on Facebook in certain groups that allow you to promote. You can put it on Instagram. You can even just ask your friends to share it, and you can start gathering. Now, this is a really small way to get started, right? This is not going to grow your list tremendously, but I wanted to start with the little things because people are sometimes intimidated to jump right to some of the bigger things we're going to talk about, right? Exactly. So if you just want to start slowly, it's called a lead magnet, right? You want to grab the name and address of somebody who has an interest in what you do, and then you want to be able to email them on a regular basis more tips, more ways that they can learn from you. Because I don't know about you, Barbara, but I always say people don't hire people for information. They hire them for implementation when they get stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's such a great point. And also it is an opportunity for us to look at the way people use social media, right? So people are using social media. They're not really there to like dive in and learn something or even to implement something. But we, when we're on Facebook, we're looking to see what our kids are doing or what our friends are up to or whatever. So that's a great place to go and find some and plant something enticing like what you suggested, a tip sheet. But then you want to get them into your email list because now you can actually develop a relationship with them. Now you can send them a newsletter, you can send them an email about a special you have coming up or, whatever, which if you've tried to put those things on Facebook, they probably would just ignore them because people aren't looking for specials necessarily on Facebook or your newsletter or whatever.
Right. It's really a fine balance between socializing. I always say social media is for socializing, right? Read, participate, show value, add to the conversation. And every once in a while, if you see something like, gee, I could really add to that, I could help those people, and they're in my target market, you might want to create a little something that you can share with them. That would also add to your email list by creating a landing page for it. I mean, I remember in the beginning, I started out, shaky as we all do. And I remember creating a free PDF. I don't even remember what it was right now, a free PDF. And all I wrote on my Facebook business page feed, and I might have put it on my personal, because as long as you're not selling on your personal, you're okay. I might say, who is struggling? I do still have this actually. Who's struggling with time management? And just say yes. So it was like, yes, 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 yes. I must have gotten 30 yeses. So then I'm like, I PM'd you, I PM'd you, I PM'd you. And then I sent them a link to my time analysis for busy growing entrepreneurs, which still exists. I think it's Nancy Ganzikoffer/time. But if they wanted to, here's some tips. And I wrote a nice little thing like, listen, I struggled too, and this is what worked for me. If you're interested, it does opt you into my email list, just so you know. But this also, right? So I'm always transparent with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I added about 30 people to my list just from that one time.
Fabulous. And that, I think that's a great story, Nancy, in that it illustrates is that even in the online space, people forget this, but even online, in other words, where you are you're leveraging the internet to get clients, that it's relationships. It's still about building relationships.
Absolutely.
We get in our head that it's this push button thing. You just like do something online and people will push a button and buy something from you. And particularly with service-based businesses, like you say a lot of your clients are interior designers, and my clients are mostly coaches, especially in that service-based business. That's just not how it works. So what you were doing by going in and sending people a personal message is being personal. It's just like networking, right? It's just like, in the old days we used to network and go to networking events, get up and put our clothes on and our hair and our makeup and go talk. It's the same thing, but you can do it in the comfort of your your office or your living room. And the other thing along the same lines is you can a lot of people, we belong to different groups, and you can go in and look at some of the comments that people are making, or maybe some of the problems that they're having, and if you see something there that you can address or help somebody with, you can reply to their comment and tell them that you'll put personal message them, and you might even go back and forth a few times, giving somebody
I do all the
some
time.
help. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the
And you know
personal
what?
message.
It's socializing, like you
It
said,
is.
like you would go networking, right? So you're networking online, and just to kind of complete the circle of my first tip of creating a landing page that that asks them for their name and email address in exchange for a helpful tip sheet, that can go on your Facebook business page, that can go on your website, that can go when once you're socializing with someone and realize you do have something that can help them, that you're not charging for. You're not just saying, you buy this will help you. You're saying, listen, I have a free thing that helped me. I think it might help you, but it will add you to my email list, and be transparent. Now, so that one PDF can be used in so many different places, and it can be sent out to your email list too as you grow your email list, just to be helpful to them as well and start to show your value. So whatever profession you're in, someone's always looking for some information from you. And I just want to, before we go on, Barbara, I just want to look down. I got Terry Atkins saying, yes, ladies, thanks for the insights. Yep, and we have so much more coming. Guys, do me a favor and share this broadcast, and definitely give us comments and likes and hearts and all that stuff, because you know what happens? If you guys don't know, and if you're coaches, I teach all my coaches this, ask for the likes and shares in the comments, because that's how you get Facebook credit. I used to tell my kids, you get mommy points if you do these things, right? Mommy points. Well, you get Facebook points if people like, comment, and share your broadcast, so that next time you go live, it kind of grows every time, right? Barbara, do you find that? Are you doing a lot of Facebook Lives at this point?
Not a lot, but I've done enough to know to actually confirm, definitely confirm what you're saying, that is the way to get more reach to people. And, in something like this, what we're doing is just getting in front of people, right? And getting, giving them an opportunity to see if, they feel comfortable with us, if we're giving them something that they want to explore further, or if not. And that's what the people watching can be using Facebook Live or any kind of video really to do as well. Video is such a powerful platform.
It
We get
is.
so much more information if you think about it, if you can just recall of a time you've met somebody on the phone, right? You've never actually met them in person, but you've had conversations with them on the phone. Then after that, you meet them. It's like you immediately get a download of information about that person, right? You're like, oh,
Absolutely.
it's like you get them like 100% more than you did just by hearing their voice or from a picture if you see somebody's picture and then meet them. So that's why video, like Facebook Live, is so powerful for people because we can immediately know, like, not like, align ourselves with, want to go further, want to just hang out and meet that person, want to get rid of them forever, get them out of my life, and that's
But
great. I
that's it.
have one of my teachers. I got to share this. One
Yeah.
of my teachers has this great phrase. He says, "It's about sorting, not selling."
Sorting.
Sorting.
Sorting through. What does he
In
mean?
other words, yeah, what he means is that it's about sorting. So, people letting people sort themselves. So, do they want to be, are they a good candidate for you? Do they like you? Do they not like you? If they don't, then go away, right? So he said
It's
it's more about
true.
sorting. Yeah.
It's
You don't
true.
have to
It's
be
about
loved
being
by
more
everybody, you guys.
authentic. Exactly, right? I
Yeah.
just did a live presentation yesterday locally, and it was all about creating your business in words. And it all starts with who you are. Three adjectives that describe you as the business person. Because when you're talking to people, you want them to know who you are. I don't believe there's such thing as competition. You know what? You're a business coach, you coach coaches. I'm a business coach, I coach coaches. The bottom line is my messaging, the way I speak, my mannerisms may be attractive to some people and yours to others. And that's who we should be working with.
Exactly. And guess what, guys? There's plenty, 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 no matter what niche you're in, there's plenty to go around for everybody. So that's why
Absolutely.
Nancy, somebody like Nancy and I can do something like this together. And, I can invite people from my list to Nancy's, and will some of them join Nancy? I hope so. That would be
Thank
delightful,
you. And same.
Yeah, so it's great. Well,
Oop, I think we
hmm.
lost you for a second. Oh, you're back. Okay. All right. So, Barbara, go into your first.
Sorry.
Are you there? Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, I got a notification and it cut the camera off for a second. Okay.
Oh, okay. You froze for a second, but you never disappeared completely. So tell everyone your first list building, email list building tip. We're trying to cover six. So I just said one free PDF that helps people in your market learn something. What's yours?
Okay, so I'm going to go about it a little bit different, if that's okay with you, because I'm such a systems person. I categories and I like to sift and sort.
Okay.
And that's how my brain understands things, so that's how I'm comfortable explaining things. So I'll start off by saying my first tip is that all list building techniques are going to fall under three categories. And so the first category is free. So that's what Nancy's tip that she just explained would fall under that free category. And then the next category is paid. Okay, so that would be like Facebook ads. People use Facebook ads a lot to generate new leads, to list build, in other words. And then the third is joint venture. And so what we're doing here is a form of joint venture that we can talk about a little bit later. But so if it's okay with you, like I like to put things in boxes like that. So we can still go through the free box. In that free box of how to build your list for free, and Nancy mentioned social media. And another way to build your list for free is public speaking.
Yes.
Now, public speaking by itself, of course, is not going to build your list. You have to invite people into your email list, right?
Right.
So typically what I do or have my clients do is, when you give a free talk, so I'm not talking about, keynote speaking. This is free, free speaking for free. And you can, during the talk, offer something, there's usually something you can find that's relevant to what you're talking about. So perhaps it's a study that is related to some story that you're telling, and so you can ask, oh, the audience, by the way, is anybody interested in that study? Show of hands if you are, great. And then you would have a sign-up board ready and says, and on that sign-up board, guys, it's really important to put, by leaving your name and email address here, you will be on my email list that you can unsubscribe from anytime. So everything you do is above, you want it to be above board, right? Nobody's going to do business with you if you start out by doing something that's kind of shady. Right, so you'd be above board with that, and you can pass around this clipboard with the sign up. And typically, when you're in front of somebody live like that, because the know, like, and trust thing, or at least the sorting, right? People will decide very quickly if they like you or not, if they want to be on your list or not. And you can, depending on, of course, the size of the audience, collect email addresses that way. So that's another free way to build your list.
That's a great way to build your list. And I have done quite a few live events, and it's a warm audience, right? Exactly what you said. Right now, they know you, they like you, they trust you. It's a warm audience, and you can offer them something. You can offer them something in the free category, as I think you really, Caden said, you explained that so well. It's so true. There's different categories of what you can offer someone, or you can actually offer them a low cost item also, right? Because somebody said to me once, and this was so interesting, I was going to be a speaker at an event, and they said, just do me a favor. Could you offer a way to work with you at the end of it? And I found that surprising because she didn't want to work with me. We were just friends. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I went to an all-day speaker event, and 3 of the speakers were fabulous. One of them, I really thought, I connect with her. And she never offered at the end a way to work with her. And I thought that was so interesting. Like, people are afraid to make that offer at the end, right? If you'd like to work with me, boom. Or I'll be in the back of the room available for you to ask questions, right? So it's the same thing with my tip number 2 is going on a podcast, right? When
Yes.
you go on a podcast, you're a guest on a podcast. Let's say you listen to a podcast all the time and you realize, wow, I'm actually in that space and I have something to add to the conversation of that podcast. Make sure when you go to that podcaster kind of pitching that you would like to be a guest, make sure you give them the angle of why you feel you can add value to their listeners. It's all about, adding content. Podcasters, publishers, they all need content all the time. So it's just a way of condensing, not giving them this whole long email like, oh my God, I love your podcast and this and that. They're not looking for the compliments, guys. They're really just looking for, if you have an available opening, I have a great topic that I think your listeners would love. And at the end of being on that podcast, you can offer something of value. Again, either in the free category or a discount to a program that you have, giving somebody a way to work with you. And I want to go back that it all starts with that landing page where you're getting them to opt in, email address and name that then feeds to your email system. So whether you use MailChimp or Aweber or Constant Contact, you've got to make sure your landing page is integrated. We use ClickFunnels. That's our big offer to, for the last, we're rolling out. ClickFunnels does all my landing pages, which I love. But my next tip is be a podcast guest or guest
Love.
blogger. These people are always looking for content. And if you can fill yourself into that and then make an offer at the end, getting them onto a landing page, name and email address, onto your email list.
I'm here.
Okay, I said we lost you again for a half a second.
Yeah, when somebody sends me a note, tags me on something, apparently it cuts the camera out for a second.
Okay, so I should take this opportunity while you're back, but let's, I'm asking everyone to share this Facebook Live. We all know entrepreneurs who are looking to grow. The greater we can reach, the more entrepreneurs we can reach, the more we can help people. So that was my second tip, Barbara. What's your
I
second
love
tip?
that. And I love that you mentioned the blog as well, because blog and podcast are kind of the same thing, right? So you can write an article. So this isn't my tip, but I'm just expanding on your tip, if that's legal.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, no, that's totally legal. This is just a conversation. This is not an official anything. It's just having conversation, helping people grow their lists.
Having wine and growing our list, baby. That's what
right.
it's all
Yeah,
about.
my wine.
Yeah,
Starting
no,
my
but
Friday at night off.
I love it. I'm just so grateful to you for helping me like start my Friday early. This is fabulous. But yeah, so the same thing, it just as a podcast, you can also, most of us, belong to, are subscribers to different blog posts. And if it's something in your field, you can write an outline of a article, or you don't even have to write the outline or the article, but just come up with an idea for an article. And in much the same way as you mentioned for the podcast, that you think would benefit the readers of that blog. And very often bloggers will, am I back? Sorry.
You're back, yep.
Very often, if you mention me in a comment, by the way, you guys, it cuts me out. So I love the love. Thank you so much. But anyway, if you think of a topic that you believe the readers of that blog would enjoy, that I'm sure that bloggers are always looking for people to take over for a week. It gives them a week where they don't have to write an article. So, and then it's the same way that Nancy mentioned in the podcast, you would also include something that is related to the article that they would find, that the audience would find of value. So you would include a link to a landing page, again, in that article, and then that would lead to the free gift.
Right.
So my tip is going to, I'm going to leave the free world for just a second. I'm leaving the free world, folks. Say lovey.
See ya.
And off into the paid world. So, and I'm doing this on purpose. So the paid world, because again, I see a lot of people just seeming to have in the back of their mind that Facebook advertising is going to be the solution to all their problems. And indeed, Facebook advertising is a powerful way to grow your list once. Now here I'm going to lay a big caveat on this, okay?
I'm waiting for this one because I have my own experience with Facebook advertising.
Once you are crystal clear, and can describe to a T exactly who your ideal client is and some big problem that they are trying desperately to solve, right? And when I'm saying describe your ideal client, folks, I do not mean women over 40 who blah, 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 blah. No, no. I mean like psychographics, like somebody who's struggling with trying to get their child who has ADHD into schools. Like that's the kind of niche problem I'm talking about. Okay, so when you get to that point in your business, and I'm going to tell you, this is what I tell my clients too. How do you know when you really are so clean and clear about your ideal client? Do you want to know how? Nancy, the test I do is you look at your bank account. If you've got a big hefty bank account, then you know how to reach your ideal client. You know exactly who they are, and you know exactly how to reach them and what to say to make their ears perk up. So when you have that big healthy bank account, now it's time to invest part of it into something that's more automatic like Facebook advertising. But where people make a mistake is when they're just starting out. So we'll do that backwards.
I did that.
Yeah, I did too. I did. How do you think I know this? How do you think I know this?
Exactly. I did that.
I just want everybody to know that I personally test out everything that I say. So I know you do too. We're
Yeah.
speaking from experience, people.
I'll tell you, I thankfully I did the Facebook ads for a little while. I did boosts, I did ads, I tried them, and I wasn't yet specific enough in who my client was and who what their pain points were. And thankfully, somebody I hired to what was her name? Brandy Johnson, I think. She was so sweet. She's a really great Facebook marketer, and will handle your whole advertising campaign for you. And she actually called me and she said, "Oh, you're not ready, honey. You're not
Yeah.
ready."
And that's the thing. I just want people that are listening to this to know that, because we are bombarded constantly with new marketing ways, right? And I'm not sitting here saying any way is right and any way is wrong. However, I will say something is appropriate for whatever state, for one stage of business that you're in, and not appropriate for another. And Facebook
Definitely.
advertising is a really great example of that, because really, like, you can, I mean, if you think about it another way, that's a really expensive way to figure out who your ideal client is, right? Just throw money at
Yes.
Facebook ads. Oh, that didn't work. Another $100. Oh, it still don't know. Another $200. Still, nobody's clicking still. So that's really not the way to figure out your ideal client. But it is something. So I don't want you also to get jaded. And I don't know what stage of business the people that are watching this are at. But if you are, at a point where you have more money than time, in other words, you're doing it, right? You got the bank account is showing,
Right.
and now it's time for you to scale and build out your team and all that stuff. So Facebook advertising at that point is beautiful. It's very powerful. And that is the time where it's appropriate to do, in my opinion, any kind of paid advertising.
I agree. And you know what? It's really that getting to know yourself and your ideal client. Oh, thank you, Caden. Brandy Marie Johnson. Um, it was such a breath of fresh air when she called me and said, "Listen, you know what? I could take your money, but I don't want to do that." And I thought, you know what? That's what you had mentioned and I had mentioned, being honest right from the beginning, right? If someone's not ready for something, just be honest, because then I'm not her ideal client. She's not going to have success with ads if I tell her, no, just do it. Do it. And she knows that I'm not being specific enough in my ideal client and I'm not hitting their pain points properly. And don't you think there's such a long discovery period when you're in a business?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And guys, give yourself that time.
Mhm.
One of my signature courses is called The Effortless Offer, and that's all about finding that out, figuring out who your ideal client is, through interviews and surveys and from having clients, right? And it's
Yeah,
almost like dating too, because sometimes, you'll have some clients and you'll go, wow, I sure don't want another one like that, right? And like, you don't know what you don't want in your life until you have it, kind of like dating,
so
a long,
true. Oh
long,
my
long time
God.
ago for me. It's like you go out with this guy and you go, well, that's not, that's certainly not what I want, right? Okay.
You're
But
so right on.
but it's important just to give yourself that time, and that is the hallmark. That is being able to do that, so you can know exactly who that person is, where they are, how you can reach them, what to say, and again, it's about sorting, not selling, so that if that person that you're talking to is not your ideal client, they'll go, okay, and wander off, right? That's perfectly fine. You don't want them to waste your time, right? So even, interior decorators, this is true, right? You want to find
Yeah.
out who that person is. Do they have big homes? Are they, are they trailer park people? Are they, where do they live? What kind of tastes do they have? How do they want to interact with their designers? I know I hired a designer, and the magic word she said, because I'm real hands-on with that stuff. Like, I have to feel like my signature is in everything. And that's who, so what she said in her messaging was, I'm going to work closely with you to imbue your essence into everything in your house. And that was like, ding, I want that, right? But a lot of people don't. A lot of people will be like,
Exactly.
no, I don't trust myself. I just want you to make my house beautiful. Don't involve me, right? So sorting, not selling.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know what? It's not pushing out information. That's a process of attracting based on your messaging, right? You're attracting. I did the live presentation yesterday. I have an exercise called Your Business in Words. It's kind of like an takeoff of an elevator speech, but it's putting the very first sentence is so simple. And again, this is a free exercise people can get at my website, nancyganzelkoffer.com/. YBIW, Your Business in Words. It's free, but it puts you on my email list, just so you know.
Okay.
But the very first sentence is, what are three adjectives about you in your business world, plus your title? Because if I just said I'm a business coach, oh, people are going to apply whatever their past knowledge or what they perceive, what they've read about what a business coach does. And this actually happened to me the other day. Somebody on Facebook reached out and said, will you write my business plan? I said, well, I can coach you through writing your business plan. No, I just want you to type it for me and just format it. I'm like, okay. But it was just that's not what I do. So that was okay. But it was confirmation that her definition of a business coach is what it is, right? So if I
Mhm.
don't expand on my communication, right, that I'm a very driven, motivated, kind of hard-ass business coach that's going to get you moving forward and through your fears and grow your list and grow your sales, how? And then you add so many more sentences, it's all in the exercise. I may not connect with my ideal client. So no matter what you do as an entrepreneur, you want to put your three highest adjectives of what describes you, like how you do what you do, and you will start attracting your ideal client. Do you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. And part of that discovery process of finding your ideal client is also the discovery for how you describe yourself, right? That's all that
Yeah.
same process. So you don't have to lock yourself in your home office and sit down with a bunch of checklists or, templates to try to figure out what your thing is. You can go, the best way to figure that out is to go out and get clients and get people to pay you money, because that right there is confirmation that your messaging is working, right? Or not,
Exactly.
or not.
Exactly.
So there, this notion that you can build a business locked, sequestered in your home office, even with a really smart business coach to help you, it's not it. You have to get out there. You have to get yourself out there, right? And that's,
Definitely.
and that's why what you were saying, about, you helping people, your heart, we're pushing them. We're having to move people out of their comfort zone, because for very few people is that comfortable. Putting yourself
Yes.
out there, going out there in public, making an offer to somebody, holy hell, that's like, wow, all your self-worth issues or whatever, is coming up with that. And so, that's exactly what I do as well. I
Yeah.
use
Once you get them
strategy.
outside of that, that's when they start feeling their
We
true
got to be
self-worth.
there, to be that. I always like to say, I put people into strategy. So I'm like the combat, like you, I just talk about it a different way. I combine strategy and mindset, right? So I
Right.
put
As
them into
always.
a strategy, and then it's almost like, I hesitate to say this, but it's almost like I take people and give them a little push off the cliff, and then I go underneath and catch them. It's like, you're okay, you're
Absolutely.
safe, I got you, right? Isn't
You
that how
have
you?
to.
And we all
You
need
have
that. We all need that, because it's difficult for anybody to get out of their comfort zone. But we're straying from list building. Should we get back to that?
Yes. Well, no, it's part of list building, because to list build, sometimes you have to take yourself out of your comfort zone, right? So, yeah. So, what
True.
tips have we given so far? The free PDF, a blog post, get on a podcast, offer something at the
Public
end that
speaking,
lands them. Public speaking, right? Do something live, everybody. Do something live.
paid
And then
advertising for the right
paid
stage of
advertising.
business. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. When you're there and you know exactly who your ideal client is, what their pain points, right down to the nitty gritty, and you can identify that, as Barbara said. And then my last one is webinars. You know what? Webinars are still very popular. People like to be able to learn behind their computer. I do a webinar a month, and having a landing page that converts has been my key to changing my whole business model, right? My landing pages are converting at 65%, which means if they decide they're interested from whatever I'm putting out there in the world, because I'm hitting on their pain points and I'm describing what I'm going to do in the webinar, they go into the landing page. 65% of them end up coming into the webinar itself. So we had 220 people opt into our last 220 people opt into the last webinar. Not all of them show up live. Yes, I end up putting them, giving them the replay if they have signed up, because I know life happens and not everyone ends up showing up live. But 220 people, probably 3/4 or half of which were not people I had before. Some of them, it's just adding value to my existing list, which I always want to do. I want to teach, I want to provide information for them. And then getting new people who are interested in whatever the topic was. So having my last tip is, if you're doing webinars or free PDF, or doing something live where you're offering something at the end, or just getting people to sign up for your live event, having a landing page that converts is key. And that's a lot of, listen, I went through a lot of trial and error. I don't know about you, but man, I did a lot of trial and error. And in the end, for me, and not everybody uses this, I use ClickFunnels. And I put a link in the description. It works for me. And right now I have an offer out that you'll actually get my highest converting landing pages if you use my link. And webinars weekly from my son, who's my ClickFunnels guru, which I'm so happy to be able to have a younger person deal with this technology. So webinars is a great way to grow your list, give information, share, and have a landing page that converts. That's my last tip. And it's hard. It's a process also of learning about yourself and about your ideal client.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Nancy. And I just want to, clear something for people, because I agree, webinars are a great way, are a great tool. Like you mentioned, a lot of the people that you are, it's a great tool for nurturing your list. Right, and the landing page and everything that you said is what people are going to go to decide if they're going to jump onto that free training or not. But talking about list building, we're really talking about how we're driving the traffic to that landing page. So just creating
Correct.
a webinar by itself is not going to build your list. So the list building part,
you're right.
Right,
you're
is
right.
going to be
absolutely.
Right, so the list building part is going to be the driving the traffic to it, and so this is going to bring up, this dovetails nicely into my my last tip, which is, so in the ways that we have described to build your list so far, you could drive traffic to it by posting it on Facebook, for example, the link to your webinar. You could drive traffic to it by mentioning it at a talk that you're giving. Right? You could drive traffic to your webinar by going and doing a podcast and mentioning that there's further training and sending them to that list, that landing page rather. Or you could drive traffic by advertising it on Facebook. In Facebook ads, as I mentioned, you really want to have that be highly targeted before you throw money at that. So my final tip, did we lose you?
I can hear you, but for some reason my camera is out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I see a lovely purple thing behind you.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. That's so funny. I'm seeing the purple thing too.
I'll give my last tip then while you are talking about are you trying to get your back on camera?
So I'm trying to touch my phone, but it's not working. So keep going.
So my final tip is falls under that third category that I mentioned, which is joint venture partnering. So in the webinar that Nancy mentioned, like I said, you could drive traffic to it. Purple haze, yeah. You could drive traffic to it. You could drive free traffic to it. You could pay traffic, or you could find somebody who has a similar audience, and you could ask them to email your training to their list. So that's much the same way that I did with this Facebook Live that Nancy and I are doing, is she asked me to partner with her on this. And so I emailed my list and invited them into this free training. And when they opted in, well, no, that's not true. They're not on Nancy's list, I don't think. Nope, they're not.
No, this is a free
Yeah,
Facebook Live, right? And I don't know
that's
why
right.
my
But
purple
yeah,
haze is there, but I can't seem to get rid of it. So I'm purple.
yeah, she's purple. But if I had put a landing page like Nancy's, one of Nancy's ClickFunnels in front of that and sent them to that link that then brought them to this page, then that is what we call joint venture partnering. And that is truly one of the fastest ways to grow your list because
I agree, Barbara. But I could have just said, you know what, Barbara, I'm having a webinar this month, and you're having a webinar next month, or you're having a
right.
summit or something. And I could say, do me a favor, could you promote my webinar? And next month I'll promote. So guys, don't hesitate to ask for collaborations, right? Because if you're talking to someone who's just genuine, right? Like Barbara and I really can't stand that. I'm watching myself on this purple haze.
I know, it's
Video
bizarre.
only mode. Swipe, wait, it's saying swipe left to reveal. Okay, that's left is revealing. This is so weird. This is a brand new phone too. This is why I hate technology. But anyway, you're right. Collaborations in all respects. You share for me, I'll share for you. Or let's do something together like this. We want to make sure we support each other in our business growth because, again, no such thing as competition.
Absolutely. And it true. Oh, and guess what? I'm about to lose my battery. So we're having it. My goodness. Oh,
I'm
and you're
back.
back. I'm gonna take you
Yes,
all with me as I go in where I can plug myself in.
all right.
I
So I
promise.
think I got the color of my shirt and turned it into, oh, your shirt too. We're wearing the same color.
Oh, look at that. We're wearing the same color. No, but collaborations are so wonderful. Remember we said at the beginning of this training or talk, it's not really a training, but just a nice little talk that, it's really all about relationships. Like Nancy and I have a relationship. And like she said, if she had a webinar and I had a webinar, maybe she's, you can find people that dovetail so nicely with what you're doing. If you're here, somebody that's an expert in color, for example, and you're an expert in, okay, now I'm going to show my ignorance about this, but what else would somebody be in design, in interior design, maybe?
You know what? You go to a tile showroom and you say, I'd love to bring live people into your showroom. You send to your mailing list, I'll send to mine. Let's see if we can bring somebody in live. I mean, that's collaborations. Somebody who wrote a book about interior design, right? You want to collaborate on a webinar with them, perhaps. So there's tons of possibilities, and especially in the coaching world, it's actually endless.
And in fact, Nancy, not we met just a few months ago, and we both initially built our list with a collaborative effort that's called a telesummit, which is a very popular way to quickly build the list from scratch, right? And so that's a way. It can be a bit of an effort and such, but it's definitely a way to shortcut building a list. Is hosting some kind of an event where you have multiple speakers, or even just one, or some. You're adding value. You're finding a collaboration partner.
Oh, Barbara, I think your new location gave us some issues with the live. So I don't know if I'm still live. So I'm going to, while Barbara figures this out, like I was purple haze before. So free PDF, collaborations, webinars, getting on blogs, getting on podcasts, having a landing page that people, the bottom line to grow your list. And now Barbara's gone. Let's see if she can actually get back in. Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks, Jason and Vivian, telling me I'm live. Let me see if I can get Barbara back in. No, I think her phone died. So anyway, you know what? This is always a chore with the technology, but we're doing okay. I do these Facebook Lives. It's Weekend Wind Down. I do them every Friday, usually at 4:30. Sometimes I have to change the time. We pick a topic, I pick a guest, and we teach you guys something new. So I hope you guys I hope you guys, you know what? Barbara does have an offer for you guys for a new program that she's coming out with. So I'm going to make sure she posts it in the comments. She's rolling out a new program, and I know she has some kind of a either free offer or a discounted offer for you guys. I'm going to make sure she posts it. In the meantime, if you are looking to grow your email list with any of the tips that we recommended, you need a landing page. Oh, Barbara, I wonder if you can come back in. Let's see. It says you're here. Bring camera back. I'm inviting you back in. Let's see if you can get here. You're always going to need a landing page. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, keep going, keep going, keep going.
I'm just saying, I know you have a program rolling out that you wanted to offer to people. So I didn't know. I said, well, Barbara's going to put it in the comments to let us know what it is. But why don't you say that just in case we lose you again?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yeah, so I'm rolling out a Black Friday special. So I have actually, we mentioned telesummits that Nancy and I first started built our list initially from telesummits. And I have been teaching that model for several years now with great success. I find it's a model that it works really well, but it's not without its pitfalls, right? And
Like
the
everything.
pitfalls, yeah, the pitfalls are it can be a lot of work, and there can be some hidden expenses that people aren't expecting. And so what I've done, just based on all the years of experience and hundreds of people I've coached through it, I've created a new model that is also a collaboration model. And I've addressed the pitfalls of that model. So it's based on that, but it's without any hidden costs. And in fact, we take care of all the technology. I'm really excited. That's the part I'm most excited about, because people get stuck at that when they have to
They
create a
do.
landing page and a speaker page and that kind of stuff, and that's where the extra hidden costs can come in when they have to hire somebody. So we've got a whole done for you component that's pretty cool, and we've greatly reduced the amount of work that has to go into the process. And so we're rolling that out. We're rolling out you could call it a beta version of this
Mm-hmm.
program. It's called Instant Tribe, instanttribe.com. And we're rolling out a beta version of it in over Thanksgiving. So we're offering like an amazingly insane discount for this program with, it's a 9-week program with the whole done for you component, with tons of support and hand holding so that everyone will be successful. And it's really designed for people that have no list and want to jumpstart their list, or even people that have a list but they're having trouble continuing to grow it. And it's something you can repeat
Yes.
over and over again. So thank you for allowing me to mention that, but we're real excited about it.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. You know what? We're doing something similar because I've had such success with ClickFunnels as a landing page, and I have my son built in as a sort of becoming a ClickFunnels guru. And the landing pages I've used, they convert at such a high rate that I'm literally, if they click on the link in the description, they will get 4 of my highest converting landing pages, and then they get my son Caden, who will actually every Wednesday get on live on a webinar and actually talk them through the landing page they're trying to create. For whether you're trying to create a free PDF or a webinar that converts so that people are actually watching you and getting on your list, I'm doing a similar thing. It's very cool. Make sure, Barbara, that, oh good, Kaden put it in, instanttribe.com.
Yeah. I want to say,
Okay,
Nancy, I'm glad that you in a real thing, because it seems like we both reached that same conclusion that people need coaches whoever business entrepreneurs. What we need is like an easy way to enter into the world of technology, and ClickFunnels is a great done for you product. But we also need some hand holding. So I love that you're including Caden in
Me
with that,
too.
and I'm including me and my people that are supporting, because that's to me the magic combination, right? You know, some people they just get hung up with the technology. And my opinion, the people that are being called to coaching, look, what you have to offer the world is too important to let some
Absolutely.
stupid new technology slow you down. So that's why, you know, Nancy has clearly come to that same conclusion herself, and that's why it's really great to be able to offer, you know, a way to ease you into that technology and give you all the hand holding and support that you need so that you can, because that's really now the basis. That's like, you know, what used to be the cash register in a business, isn't it? It's like
Well,
this.
we both lived through it, right? We both lived through, hire a VA, they'll do it all for you. You know what? Oh my God. To find, to not for nothing, a lot of entrepreneurs, they want to have control of when they can do things also, right? So you got to relinquish some control, you got to retain some control. So if I can teach people how to use well, not me, Caden, if Caden can teach people how to use their own ClickFunnels account, and they'll have the option, it's so easy to create these landing pages and then to have him supporting every week. And then when they need to get clear and concise and who their target market is and their ladder of services and what they're offering, okay, that's where I come in, right? So
Exactly.
it's the same as you. You know what? We've lived through it, and now we know what everyone really needs. So guys, I want to thank everyone who was here today, who's going to rewatch. Barbara, thank you so much for doing this weekend wind down with me. Cheers. You probably lost your drink now in the other
I
room.
lost my drink. It's outside. I'll go
But
back
thank
to
you
it. Don't
so
worry.
much. And we should definitely do a webinar in the future, guys. Collaboration, that was one of our tips for growing your list, because I think we'd be able to really add a lot of value to everyone building their coaching businesses, building their brick and mortar businesses. It just really is all about staying focused and getting to that next step and stepping out of your fear and trying something new, right?
Absolutely. All right, everybody,
Okay.
thank you so much
So
for your
enjoy your
time.
weekend.
Thank you for having me, Nancy.
Thank you for joining Weekend Wind Down. And I will see you guys next week. I don't know who my guest is next week, but I will figure it out. Okay. Bye. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.